Partisanship has no place in your portfolio. Hi, I'm Ed Riggins, but most people just call me Riggo, and welcome back to Thoughts for Thursday. I believe in numbers because numbers are facts and facts are real. I'm drawn to studies that are based on historical data, and I usually view those studies with a bit of skepticism. All this was on my mind when I was reading the results of a recent study by Jeff DeMasso of the independent Vanguard Advisor. Jeff Sommer, who writes about markets, finance, and the economy for the New York Times, referenced DeMasso's study in that newspaper recently. DeMasso looked at hypothetical alternative portfolios, and he started with $10,000 invested at the end of 1976. He alternated between investing in VFIAX, which is the S&P 500 index, and VMRXX, which is the cash reserves federal money market. In other words, in these hypothetical portfolios, he toggled back and forth between all equities and all cash. And he did it based on the political party, Democrat or Republican, of who was in the White House. Importantly and conveniently, during this same period, the two parties were very evenly split in terms of their time in the Oval Office. The results were fascinating and maybe a little surprising. The hypothetical investor who ignored presidential politics and went all equities would have turned the $10,000 from 1976 into $1.6 million. The hypothetical investor who went all equities during Democratic presidential administrations ended up with $849,000. The hypothetical investor who went all equities during Republican presidential administrations ended up with $163,000. To make the point that he wasn't trying to be partisan, he said, look, if you just held stocks only in the even years during that time period, you'd have ended up with $122,000, and if you'd invested in stocks only in the odd years, you would have ended up with just over $1.1 million. Here, I think he was reminding us of what Mark Twain said, figures don't lie, but liars figure. DeMasso and Twain were both pointing to the fact that data can be manipulated to spin a story. I love what Jeff Sommer said in his article about the study in the Times. He said, the harsh truth is that the market is amoral and largely apolitical. The punchline, it seems to me, is that at least when it comes to investing, it would be wise to ignore presidential politics and recall the larger point that it is equities that have historically proven themselves to be a pretty good long-term bet, no matter who holds the White House. If you'd like to read the article, just reply and I'll send you a link. Thanks for joining me.
Doors